Brand new here. What do you think the effects to Disney will be over the new park coming to Oklahoma? I love this question. We have talked about this, Pro, you and I. And it's the park in Oklahoma. It's also the park in Frisco, Texas, being built by Universal that is going to focus on the younger audiences. Like it's all Dr. Seuss, Simpsons. It's all like the cartoon characters and stuff like that that they have theme park licenses for. So that's two big competitions right there in Middle America, like geographic Middle America. What do you think the effects are going to be, Pro?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to throw out a reference that nobody out there expects me to say this, but this is what's happening. We are watching the Dollywood effect. And what I'm talking about is that you had this little regional park, right, that, people in Appalachia attended. And this little regional park, over years of investment and being treated correctly, it actually managed to start winning the best theme park in North America awards over and over.
Yep.
And its attendance exploded. And what that did is that these other companies watched Dollywood place itself on the level of a Universal Studios or a Walt Disney World and start winning these awards. And they said, I bet we could do that. And now you're starting to see these investors, you're starting to see these entrepreneurs come forward and say, we can make a park that can compete with Disney because Disney is so weak. We can compete with them regionally. And so I think that's what's going to happen with this park coming to Oklahoma. I don't think it's going to take a huge market share away from Disney.
No.
But I think that it's going to be highly right. It doesn't
have to. Yeah.
But it might make, gosh, I don't know, some small percentage of people who were planning to go to Disney and maybe they're on that margin economically, they say, you know what? Actually, this park's just as good. Let's go to American Heartland.
And especially if it's geared towards older audiences, like with bigger roller coasters and things like that. And that's why, look, places like Cedar Point, Cedar Rapids, all those theme parks, Kings Point, they're never going to equal Disney on a scale of pure income, but they do very well because they have some of the best thrill rides in the country. And this Oklahoma park is set to spend, I believe it's about $2 billion building the park.
That's right. And they're building it the way they built the Walt Disney World Resort, where they start with the camping and the leisure activities and get people already loving it before they ever start on the theme park aspect.
Right.
I think this may be bigger than you're thinking, though, because I think their pitch here is what Disney's original pitch was, which was Americana. You know, I think a lot of the draw of the original Disneyland was you had Main Street USA.
Yes.
And Disney's trying to distance themselves from that. And I think there's a hunger for that. The vision that Disney had of Main Street USA, I don't think it never really necessarily existed the way that it's presented there, but it is this nostalgic view that everybody wishes that their hometown was like this, and you want to go to a place like that. So I think that may be a bigger draw than you think. It's not just the rides.
Yeah. No, you're right. And look, when you spend $2 billion on the entire park, and this is why, we had questions earlier. The Star Cruiser came up during the Disney earnings call, the Galactic Star Cruiser. And they were talking about the accelerated depreciation. We talked about that earlier when Nerdrotic was here. There was some rumor out there that maybe the cost was as high for that as like billions, like $4 billion. And that's why I was like, there's no way.
Well, let's put it this way. If you think that cost $4 billion, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, it's not just that you don't understand the cost of theme parks and buildings and et cetera. You don't understand money. Like you don't even understand money at all, because the Galaxy's Edge, each one of those expansions, right? Huge, tremendous money put into those. They each cost between $1 and $1.2 billion. And you're going to tell me the little dinky 100-room hotel cost $4 billion? Like, you don't even someone should protect your wallet because you don't understand how money works at all, let alone at the corporate level.
Yeah. Well, and look, and I'm not trying to, single out anybody. I mean, sometimes sources get things wrong, or maybe there's a misinterpretation of the news. But my point was, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, let's look at this rationally. We just had this, like, within a few days, we had the news about this park in Oklahoma. This is a $2 billion build. And I even showed people, I'm like, look, they just built the two most advanced NFL stadiums in the history of the world. One is Allegiant in Las Vegas for the Raiders. That was a $2 billion stadium that seats like 80,000 people. It is state-of-the-art. That was outdone by SoFi, and I meant to bring this up earlier with Gary because he mentioned it. I don't, my Chargers, I hate them now because they left. The Chargers moved from San Diego to Los Angeles, along with the Rams, who went back to Los Angeles, who used to be there originally, went to St. Louis, and now back at Los Angeles. So the Rams and the Chargers now play at SoFi. That is a $5 billion building. $5 billion. SoFi Stadium for two NFL teams in Los Angeles. So a little podunk hotel. No.
Right. I can build Epcot for $4 billion.
Yeah. So, no, it's just not there.
They've already started doing it. I mean, you've got them serving alcohol in the parks now. And honestly, if you want to look at the template, go back to Pinocchio. They're basically just recreating Donkey Island.
Not only that, I mean, prior to the introduction of alcohol, there were still tons of fights happening in Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah.
I remember seeing those travel before the pandemic hit. It was something that you could have fun doing. Just search for Disney fights, and then you would see mothers, other parents, guests. If they're not fighting with each other, they're attacking the people in the costumes.
See, now that's what they need to monetize. You got some real money there.
Yeah.
It's unscripted content. You can do it right now.
I'm not going to say which special event it was that I used to attend or why I was attending it, but I'll tell you the park it was in. It was Hollywood Studios, and I've told this story before. But for those of you who think that Disney has been pristine and maintained values over the last decades, I remember going to Hollywood Studios for an after-hours event, and young women, Disney would cater to them, with tons and tons and tons of alcohol. And then the Indiana Jones Stunt Show Spectacular stage was used as this giant, what we called it the flesh pit. And it was there was a lot of lovemaking going on by a lot of people down there.
You're kidding.
And, no, it was something.
I thought you were going to say they put up stripper poles and just went there, but okay.
A lot of interesting behaviors down in the flesh pit. And if there's someone out there who has ever been to Hollywood Studios when lots and lots of young women, in their 20s are there, you're probably nodding your head up and down and going, how does Pro even know about that?
Indiana Jones and the Curse of Chlamydia.
I'm glad you said chlamydia. I thought you were going to say something else that sounded never mind. All right, next super chat, Aaron.
Renegade.